Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our AFA Care Webinar. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. But it's really important time, and time I believe you'll find is extremely well spent. I know we're all busy, but sometimes it's good to sort of take stock and think about ourselves for a moment. And that's what today is all about. I want to talk to about AFA Care, and it's something that's really important to us here at the AFA and as part of the AFA community, because we all know in our lives we all have stresses and strains, whether it's the daily work pressures, whether it's pressures at home. We might be managers, have pressure with our staff, or we might be a staff member ourselves and have pressure with other peers, colleagues, or family and friends. And particularly as advisors or staff of advisors, we're dealing with clients every day. And we're often having emotional conversations. And a lot of those conversations are really happy conversations. You know, we talk about people's goals. We're helping them achieve their dreams through great financial advice. But often we're having challenging conversations. We're having conversations where potentially there's marriage breakups. Someone might not be able to achieve their financial goals. There might have been an illness or a death in the family. And we're dealing with these people every day, as well as the normal stresses and strains of work and life balance. Some of those conversations can be quite emotional. Some of the clients we're dealing with, or some of the people we're dealing with, can be quite volatile, and sometimes they can be hostile. So on top of the normal stresses and strains, we've also got those additional emotional conversations. And the question is, who do we turn to? Because we know that 1 in 4 Australians through some time in their lives will suffer from some sort of anxiety. And as an industry, we're even more aware of the stress of mental illness and the impact that can have. But one of the things we know is really important, particularly around stress and mental illness, is early intervention. And as an industry, we have a bit of a concern about that because we worry about mental records and because we know what the potential implication is of mental health. So the thing is, can we give ourselves some sort of counselling, some sort of confidential relief, someone to talk to that maybe isn't a friend or a family, someone that we know is going to keep things extremely confidential, but has the tools and assistance to help guide us through difficult situations. And it could be, as I say, emotional, it could be stress, or it could be health related. It could be anything to do with our own personal well-being. Now, we know the AFA has got a proud history of its involvement in the community, and you as members have contributed fantastically over the last 10 years through the AFA Foundation, where we've raised over $1.5 million. And individually, many of you contribute to the community in different ways. But one of the most important things is our AFA community and how we look after each other. We've had a great conference recently with over 700 delegates where we've collaborated and been together and helped each other. But we wanted to take this one step further, and that is why we wanted to talk about AFA Care. I should have, at the outset, introduced next to me Sarah Smith from Davison Trehair Corp Psych. If you're going to do something like this, you should do it extremely properly. And that's why we wanted to partner with Australia's largest workplace assistance program provider, and that is DTC, Davison Trehair Corp Psych. Sarah is from DTC, and I want to introduce Sarah. And Sarah's going to run through exactly what is, who is DTC and what is provided through the employee workplace assistance program that we're calling AFA Care. So Sarah, firstly, welcome. Apologies that I didn't introduce you earlier. People must have been wondering, who's this person sitting next to Phil? But tell us a bit about DTC and what the assistance program provides.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Phil, and for AFA for having me here to talk through the Employee Assistance Program, a really fantastic benefit for you as a member of AFA. So I'm just going to talk you through a bit of the services that are available to you as a member. So I'll just transition to the presentation. It won't be a moment.
Well, technical difficulty here. Just bear with us as we try and get the screen up. Be good to go.
Excellent, thank you. So I'm here to talk a little bit about the employee assistance program that is available to you. So this is just a bit of a roadmap on the services and what I'll be talking about today. So just briefly on DTC and our background as an organisation, looking at the individual support that's available for you, looking at some of the online resources and support that's available, covering off our manager assist and HR support services, and then we will have questions at the end of the presentation. So please feel free to send those through and we'll answer those at the end of the presentation. So DTC, we've been in operation for 29 years, and as Phil mentioned, we are the largest provider of EAP and health and wellbeing services in Asia Pacific. We recently acquired a New Zealand-based provider to really expand our reach to be able to support employees and their immediate family members no matter where they're based. So we've got a DTC office in all metro locations across Australia, and then through our associate network, we're able to support people in more regional and remote locations. And as mentioned, we've got offices in New Zealand and Asia as well. So DTC specialises in not only individual support, but mental health, workplace issues, conflict resolution, and also critical incident on-site support. To access the services, there really is a range of ways that you can access it to meet your needs. So there's face-to-face support available. Support is available via telephone, video and online through our health and wellbeing portal, which I will talk to in a little bit more detail shortly. And the assistance is there 24/7 all year round. So that really means that when you call, no matter the time of day, no matter the time of year, you are able to access support. We do have a call centre that's based out of our Sydney office, which is operational from 7:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night, and then it rolls over to our after hours call centre from 7:30 at night till 7:30 in the morning. So when you do call through, no matter the time, you will always have someone at the end of the line to answer your call and provide that support. So what does it mean to be mentally well? So when you are feeling well and feeling at your best, you are able to realise your own strengths and abilities. You're able to cope with the normal stresses of life, because you may have things going on at work, you may have things going on personally. So it's being able to manage those stresses and not allow it to get to a point that it is too overwhelming. It's being at work and being productive. It's being able to make a contribution and want to make a contribution to your community. And there's a focus on self-care that leads to better health outcomes. So self-care really is different for every individual. For one person, it might be spending time with loved ones. For another individual, it might be exercising regularly. So whatever it is that makes you feel healthy and well, it's ensuring that you put that into practice on a regular basis. So Phil did touch on one of these facts. So I find that these really are powerful. We know that 1 in 4 people in Australia will experience an anxiety disorder in their lifetime. 1 in 5 women and 1 in 8 men will experience depression in their lifetime in Australia. And more than 50% of people don't seek help, and that's really down to stigma around mental illness, lack of knowledge or education on how they can access support, but it's knowing that effective treatments are available. So reaching out to EAP for support, and might be linking with your GP for a mental health care plan. So it's really accessing that support and that early intervention to ensure that it doesn't sort of move and progress from there. So looking at the ways that the EAP can support you. So it's there for any personal or life concerns that you might be experiencing. It's there for any family concerns. So it's there for your immediate family members as well. So the services that I'll talk through, your immediate family members can access. It's there for any relationship concerns. So whether that's personal relationships, it might be with your partner, it might be with your children, or it might be a workplace relationship, so with a manager or with a colleague. So any concerns that you might have in that space, we can support with. Money Assist is our financial counselling service. So really, if you have any stresses in the financial space, we can provide confidential financial support. We also offer a dietitian and nutritional support service, which I'll talk to in a little bit more detail shortly. Our people and teams, so that's our manager assist service, which is a fantastic resource for managers, supervisors, team leaders, for HR as well, and it's there to support with any complex people or behavioural concerns that you might be experiencing. We also offer on-site support in the instance of a critical incident or a traumatic event, and then we also have a range of partnerships to really cover off a holistic approach to health and wellbeing. So one partnership being the National Home Doctor Service, where a doctor will come out to your home. So if you are really unwell, or you might have a child that's really unwell and you just can't get to a medical centre, you can reach out to the National Home Doctor Service and request for a doctor to come out to your home. So it's operational from 6 p.m. weekdays, all day on weekends and public holidays. In addition to that partnership, we are also the sole licensee of the Beyond Blue Workplace program. So that's really raising awareness about mental health in the workplace. And our most recent partnership is with Win-Win Parenting, and that's to support employees that are juggling that the family life and work life as well. So really that work-life balance. So looking at the individual supports under the counselling service, it really is an individual customised approach. So depending on the support that you require for your particular concern, the clinician will really work with you to develop a plan that is appropriate for you and your needs. So really the driver for the EAP is to support your entire work health and life journey. And as I've mentioned, it's there for any personal or work-related concerns, and it's completely confidential. So DTC is a separate organisation to AFA, so when you do access support, I really emphasise that it is confidential unless you disclose to your manager, to your colleague, even to your family. No one needs to know that you're accessing support. So we operate under a short-term solution-focused counselling model. So that really means every individual will access support according to what they require and the level of support they require. For one individual, they might only need 2 or 3 sessions to work through a particular concern. However, another individual might need 6. So as I mentioned, it really is a customised approach and works with you and your needs to work through that particular concern. And the service, again, it is for you and your family members. So what I talk about today, your family members can access the same support. So when we talk about the EAP, I think I can safely say that a lot of people still have, there is still a great deal of stigma around the word counselling and EAP, and people can be a little bit hesitant with reaching out for support. So what we're really trying to promote the EAP as, obviously it is there for counselling and if you are working through a crisis or a difficulty, but it can be really used as a powerful and proactive tool and a coaching tool to enhance your overall health and wellbeing. So it's an opportunity to have a confidential conversation with a qualified professional. All of our services are provided by registered psychologists that have a minimum of 5 years post-registration experience, and social workers that again have a minimum of 5 years experience. So you'll be meeting with a qualified professional to talk through your concern. It allows them to provide you with some strategies that you can implement with this particular concern, but then also you can take away with you, put in your tool belt and use it at a later stage if need be. So it's an opportunity to clarify and identify any possible solutions or options for action. It is there as a coaching tool, so if you are wanting to perhaps for career development, you might want some guidance around what you can do to really enhance and progress with your career. So it can be really used as that positive and proactive approach to your work environment. It's an opportunity to develop plans to approach difficult issues in a constructive manner, and again to really address existing issues to be better than you already are now. So really to improve your overall health and wellbeing. So these are just some examples of the areas that we can support with from both a personal and work perspective. So obviously you can see it is there for a crisis or a difficulty that you might be experiencing, but it can really be used to enhance relationships, build really meaningful relationships. It's there for career development, etc. So it really can be used as more of a positive and proactive tool rather than just a reactive tool. So I mentioned that we'd have health support available. So this really came about from feedback that we had from our customer organisations on what they're wanting to support their employees with. So we started with one dietitian in 2014, and we now have a team of 5 because it's such a popular service. So it's provided by accredited practicing dietitians, and again, it's really a customised program to meet you and your needs. So whether it's just general health improvements, you might want to, it might be for weight management, you might be training for a triathlon, you may have an allergy, or your children might have an allergy and you want some guidance on meal preparation or meal ideas. Whatever it is that you're wanting support with, they'll develop a customised program for you. To access this service, it is a phone-based service, and you can access 2 to 3 phone sessions with a dietitian. So I will talk through the number and how you can access the services towards the end of the presentation, but it really is calling through to our one direct call centre based in Sydney to access any of the services that I talk through today. So looking at our online support, so we have a portal, it's called EAP Direct, and it has a range of resources and information on topics such as family, work, relationships, health, money and life. So there's articles, there's self-assessment tools and questionnaires, there's a range of videos, podcasts and links to other health resources. And this is where you can access online counselling. So as I've mentioned, there's a range of ways that you can access support to meet you and your needs. So whether it's face-to-face, via telephone, or through our online platform, EAP Direct, you can have a confidential conversation with either a nutritionist, dietitian, or with a clinician. So to access the online portal, you follow that the website, www.eapdirect.com. And the initial login details can be found at the bottom of that slide. So the organisation name and token, you would use those details for the initial login, and then you're prompted to set your own username and password from there. So then it is completely confidential when you do access the online counselling support. You don't receive the response from the clinician until you log back into the site. So you can be confident and comfortable that it is a secure platform. Again, from customer feedback, we developed the DTC Great Life app, and it's really to make access to the service and support so much easier. So no matter where you're based, whether it's metro or regional, you can access holistic health support at your fingertips, because obviously everyone has their phone with them all the time. So having that support there is a really great platform. So similar to the EAP Direct portal, it has information on mind, body, money, relationships, work and family. And you would just click on the image that you're wanting information on, and it will take you down to additional resources on that particular topic. The app is downloadable on Apple and Android phones, and there's really 3 levels of interaction, giving you really easy and simple navigation. Within the app, there is a click to call function, so just on the bottom right of the image, that click to call function takes you straight into our call centre. So you'll speak with one of our customer support officers to either book or reschedule an appointment. In addition, on the app, there is a breathing exercise. So in times that you are highly stressed, you might have a deadline at work or something going on personally, if you are feeling quite overwhelmed, the activity is an image of a tree where the leaves expand and go down again. So it really allows you to focus on your breath and to calm you down in times of high stress. So looking at our managerial support, so Manager Assist. So this is a phone-based service, again, and it's provided by a clinician that has managerial experience. So again, it's a registered psychologist or a social worker that has a minimum of 5 years experience, and it's a confidential conversation to support managers, supervisors, team leaders with any complex or difficult people or behavioural concerns. So it can be used as a standalone service. So it might be the case that you have concerns around an employee and you want to reach out for some guidance, or it might be the case that you have an employee that is a little bit hesitant about accessing the service. So we do have a manager assist referral option. So you can call on the employee's behalf, granted you have their consent, and either request for a call out to be made to the employee, or you can actually make the call with the employee directly. So here are just some examples of what the Manager Assist service can support with. So obviously there's a range of areas there, but two that I really want to highlight, just bringing in some scenarios that the Manager Assist can really support with. So for example, a team leader or a manager might have a performance review that's scheduled with an employee, and you're a little bit concerned about how the employee might respond to the feedback that you're going to provide. So you might have fears that they're going to be highly emotional, tearful, aggressive, perhaps angry, and you're just a little bit concerned about how to approach that conversation, because obviously you would have the process sort of in mind of what you need to cover off. But where DTC comes in is from the emotional perspective. So how to have that conversation, and the clinician can talk through appropriate responses to someone that is in emotional distress, strategies to diffuse an angry situation, so de-escalation techniques that you can use, ways to maintain your own emotion during that meeting. So obviously that can be quite confronting if an employee does get highly emotional during that conversation. But then the manager assist also offers an opportunity to debrief following that meeting. So it can be used as a standalone service. You might only want that feedback prior to the conversation, but what we can offer is then a follow-on conversation with the clinician. So you can talk through how you approach the conversation, things that you could have possibly done differently, and then to obviously support your own emotional reactions following that meeting. In addition to that scenario, there is another scenario around a manager or an employee calling the EAP centre directly that might be experiencing either a workplace concern, interpersonal conflict perhaps, or it might even be a personal concern. So when you call through to the call centre, you might be highly emotional during that call. So really how we would manage that, how DTC would manage that, is the customer support officer would obviously identify that you are a distress caller, and they would follow DTC's protocol around supporting that individual. So they would really link in with a clinician to provide that immediate support. Normally we would have our operational times for booking an appointment is 2 business days. However, if someone does need that immediate support, we do offer that. So whether it's a phone-based or face-to-face support. So the customer support officer would link in with our on-call clinicians to provide that immediate transition across to a clinician to provide that support to you. So the clinician would undertake an assessment and support to ensure that you are looked after, and then follow on from there. So it really is a range of services and support that can be accessed through the Manager Assist service. So I've covered off obviously a range of services that are available through the EAP, and really to highlight how you access the services, either calling through to our 1300 number. I have been advised that the AFA Care website will be updated with an AFA Care specific page, which will have a range of resources and information to link you in with the EAP, including our contact number. So to access all of the services, you would call through to our 1300 number and link in with one of our customer support officers. In addition to that, the other platforms of support is our online portal, EAP Direct, which is a member-free portal, and then also our app as well, which I highly recommend to download, again, on either Apple or Android phones. Now we will open up the platform to answer any questions that might have been sent through.
So thanks, Sarah. We did have one question as to whether this applies to extended family members. So the service is designed for, and this was one of the things that we wanted to make sure when we're talking to Sarah, was that it wasn't just for AFA members, it was for their their team, their staff and their family. So this is designed for, as I say, AFA members, AFA staff, members of the individual team, and primarily the direct family. It is an honour system. When you do ring up, you have to quote the div from the AFA, and that is how you validate your credentials. So, but we do implore anyone from the AFA community to access this service, because we think it will be extremely helpful to you in that early intervention, just helping you get through those difficult conversations, as Sarah's quite clearly said. So I don't know if we have any other questions. So one of the other questions, what's the app called? And it's called Great Life?
DTC Great Life.
Yep. And someone's downloaded the app and says, great.
Excellent.
I have downloaded it. No more questions?
Is there a cost?
There is a question, is there a cost? Not to you. So this is a service provided free from the AFA to the AFA community. So if there's no other questions on this, I'd like to firstly thank you, Sarah, for your time. We do have just a quick update for those of you still on the line. Ros Kay, our membership manager extraordinaire, just wants to update you on some critical things for this time of year. So I'll hand you over to Ros.
Okay.
Where do I go?
Hello everybody. First of all, I'd like to say how excited the membership team is about this new AFA Care benefit for our members. We do know it's been a tough time out there for you all, and we just want you to know that you care, and as Phil said, you're not alone. There's a couple of important things coming up for the end of the year. The first and probably the most important thing is that you probably are aware of this, but the life insurance framework will start on the 1st of January 2018. And Phil Anderson has given me a prompt to say to you all that if there is some business coming up, there's some points around this. So if you lodge any policies prior to the end of 2017 and they're finalised by the 31st of March 2018, then they're not subject to the life insurance framework new rules. So that's very important to note. So if you do have some business coming up, we would advise you to lodge that as soon as possible. Secondly, about TPB renewals, it's absolutely critical. This is the 31st of January 2018 will be the biggest renewal period for tax financial advisors. We are getting quite a few calls from people trying to ensure, A, that they're a member and that they're not lapsed, B, that they need their membership certificate and number. So we're actually about to launch to all our voting members, and to ensure that they have the information they need, we'll be sending out via email your latest membership certificate within the next couple of weeks. The other important thing to note is that you have to lodge with the TPB by the 31st of December 2017, and they need a month to do all of this because there's over 13,000 advisors that need to register in time to ensure that they don't lose the ability to give tax financial advice. If you have any issues and you don't understand what you need to do, we have put out an EDM about this, or electronic distribution mail. And if you haven't received it, please contact the membership team and we'll be able to pass on that email to you, which will help you step through the process from your point of view. A lot of licensees are actually helping their members to do that same thing, but if you need further assistance, we are here to help. That's what the membership team is all about. So one other final note to you all is that we will be closing the AFA head office on the 23rd of December and we'll be back on the 8th of January 2018. So if you do need our assistance or help with the TPB renewal or any other matter, please ensure that you do contact us by the 23rd of December to get the information you need. And that's all from me. A very happy holiday to you all. Please stay safe, and remember, this is the time of the year that you may need AFA Care more than ever. So please remember that. Cheers.
Thanks, Rosie. And look, we have one last question. Do you have to validate your organisation? No, you just have to mention that you're part of the AFA, and you'll be able to access yourself to the service. So if there's no further questions, a big thank you again for spending time with us. We really hope that you'll find this valuable. Might not be today, might not be tomorrow, but there will be some time then. I'm pretty sure you, whatever your team or a family member, might need to access the DTC AFA helpline. So please feel free to do that. Thank you once again to our special guest, Sarah. Thanks for coming in. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And to everyone, if we don't speak beforehand, have a fantastic Christmas. Bye for now.